Alright, what's up everyone? Welcome to another Apache's Adventures. This video will be going to the Taos Pueblo, and this one's a really special place for me because my grandfather's side is from the Taos Pueblo and from even the town of Taos as well, just that whole area. And growing up, he used to always tell me about it and always wanted to take me there, but unfortunately he didn't have a chance to take me there. And so now we're visiting it, or visiting it for the first time all these years later. And it was just a great experience, like seeing, basically almost like seeing like where my roots came from and being like, wow, like one of my ancestors might have walked here or something. So it was real interesting and it was real special to go there. So I thought with this one I would start briefly. I don't want to go too much into detail because I'm sure it might bore some people, but I like history, and I've been into like doing ancestry and stuff like that. And some of this I found, through ancestry, and some of this, I found out later on. When talking with my uncles and my grandfather's younger brother who's still alive. So basically, I just wanted to talk about briefly the connection of my family, to the area. So I think it'll build a better precedent for it. So we're going to start in 1680. So in 1680, there was something called the Pueblo Revolt. Basically, all the Pueblo tribes, I don't think it was all of them, but most of the Pueblo tribes got together and they fought against the Spanish and kicked the Spanish out of New Mexico for 12 years, which basically, it was kind of like the Battle of Little Bighorn before the Battle of Little Bighorn. Like when all these, when tribes got together and they just kicked out the Spanish for 12 years. And one of my early ancestors who I'm a descendant from, his name was Domingo Naranjo. Now, even though it's a Spanish name, that's the thing a lot of people, wonder, like, especially in like New Mexico, pretty much if you're born in New Mexico and your family have been there, everyone has a Spanish name. Like you could be an Indian, have a Spanish name, you could be like a Mexican or a Hispano and have a Spanish name, or even there were some white people who adopted Spanish names. So his name was Domingo Naranjo. He was the son of a freed black slave. So the slave was Mateo Naranjo. I forgot which family he served with or whatever, but so he married an Indian woman, and that's how so Domingo is the son of that man and the Indian woman. And he's believed to be one of the leaders, maybe not the leader, but there was like multiple leaders, because the main leader was Pope of the Pueblo Revolt, but like there were also other leaders that came from other pueblos, and one of them was Domingo Naranjo, and he was from the Taos area. And so that's kind of where our story starts. So then we go to his son, Jose Antonio Naranjo. So this is his son. So this is kind of weird. So his dad was a part of the Pueblo Revolt, right, and kicking the Spanish out of New Mexico for 12 years. But his son actually did the opposite and worked with the Spanish during like their various expeditions, and he also helped Diego de Vargas, like the governor of New Mexico, who kind of led the charge to come back in New Mexico after the Spanish had been kicked out. And he actually killed his own brother. So like Domingo had another son who was leading another Indian rebellion, and Lucas Naranjo. So Jose killed Lucas. Jose was also the leader of the Indian auxiliary troops and also like the scouts. So he went on various expeditions like against the Apache and the Navajo, and I think also like the Ute, who like the Spanish didn't want in that area, and they were trying to get him out. And he was, in 1720, he was a part of the Villa Sur expedition. And he actually got killed by the Pawnee. The Pawnee went and killed everyone who went on the expedition. So, I think, I don't know, I think like they got killed in the village. Like something went wrong and they got killed in the village. So Jose Naranjo, so the son of Domingo, was killed. This is another person I'm, in this line that I'm a descendant of. So now we'll go into Jose Pablo Montoya. Now, Jose Pablo Montoya was a Mexican. He was like a politician in the Taos area, and he was involved in two revolts. He was involved in the 1837, I think it was called the Chimayo Revolt. He was involved in that, and he was involved in the Taos Revolt of 1847. So the Taos Revolt of 1847 briefly was against the Americans, who had just taken over, who had just won the Mexican-American War. I think this might be the final battle in the Mexican-American War. Basically, this is kind of when New Mexico, it was kind of a weird period because New Mexico really wasn't providing support to New Mexico. New Mexico was kind of like, okay, you guys are kind of on your own. You guys are too far. We can't really enforce it. And then the Americans wanted it, but the actual people that have been living there for a few hundred years, they're like, no, we don't want it. We don't want to be subjugated by another, like another Spanish rule, another colonial rule. So what happened was the Mexicans and the Indians got together to fight off the Americans. And one of the leaders of that was Pablo Montoya. He worked with Tomasito Romero, who was an Indian. And so they were working together to try to kick the Americans out of New Mexico and basically kind of take it back. He was briefly like the mayor of Taos. In September of 1847, he led an army of 3,000 rebels almost to Santa Fe, where he got in a truce with General Armijo. But what eventually happened was, after the Americans instituted martial law and they did all that, Pablo Montoya was captured, and unfortunately he was hung in the Taos Plaza in February 7th of 1847. So I think he was only like 31 or 32, so he was really young to have that kind of happen. I think this person's like my 4th or 5th great-grandfather, and his name was Padre Martinez, and he was like a politician and also a priest in the Taos area. And he's unique because he lived through 3 different periods. So he lived through when the Spanish were in charge of New Mexico, then he lived through when the Mexicans were in charge of New Mexico. Now he lives through when the Americans are in charge of New Mexico. So he kind of saw 3 different kinds of things of power. Basically, he did like a lot of like things for like around the community and stuff. And it's kind of funny because my uncle was telling me that like basically he kind of doesn't like him because, and I can understand why, because he didn't really do much to help, Jose Pablo Montoya, who Padre Martinez's son would marry Pablo Montoya's granddaughter, I believe. And so he was a priest, a Catholic priest, but he disagreed because there was this French preacher who came, and he disagreed with his practices, and basically like they tried to get him like excommunicated and try this like, other stuff. So, and Padre Martinez was like, okay, I'll just do my own church then. So even though he was still technically Catholic, he kind of, I think they became Presbyterian, but I think it was still basically Catholic, but he just renamed it as Presbyterian, just so he didn't have to like follow like their rules or whatever. And he like worked within the town, and also he would go to the Pueblo as well. But he just like did like various stuff like around the area. And there's actually even a statue of him in the Taos Plaza, which I wish I would have gotten, but I didn't even realize that. But I guess that's a reason to go back. All right, and then finally, so with the final kind of person I wanted to talk about, her name was Juana Maria Montoya. So this is Jose Pablo Montoya's granddaughter. And she's unique because she was a well-known figure in the area, and she was also a curandera. Now, for people who don't know what a curandera is it's basically kind of like a folk healer, basically. Like, I don't want to say like a medicine woman. I don't think like she was up like that high or anything. But, she used, herbal knowledge to help, people with different ailments in the area, and she helped deliver, babies and stuff in that area as well. And she was actually lived partly in the Pueblo as well. Like, so she would, occasionally, spend a few weeks there and spend the night there. And apparently from the book I read is that only like admitted Indians were allowed to basically stay in the Pueblo. And she would always stay there overnight and stuff. So that's partly, so not only through her, but through also various other people, just to show the connection to the area. So anyway, so without a doubt, let's get going and let's head on into Taos. Mm-hmm. Let's go this thing. Watch out for the puddles. This isn't the actual church, it's reconstructed. I think by the original church is where the cemetery is. The graveyard. Do you see where that chimney is? That was the original church before it got burnt down. Some of them are, yeah. Like the one who was hung by the U.S. Army, Jose Pablo Montoya. I don't know if it was in the town or if it was here, like where because I think this is where like a battle happened too. Try to find the creek. Go this way. I think this is their main source of water.
This is?
Mm-hmm.
I can't touch you, sir. Poor man.
I don't know if we could go that way. Okay, head back
The
this
dog's
way.
like, you can't come.
No.
Just so you know.
It's a cute dog. I wonder whose dog it is.
Did you want to look at the art gallery or no?
Where?
This is Pueblo Art Gallery.
Oh yeah, we could look at that. So this is the one in 1847 where one of our ancestors was the leader of it. Well, not the main leader, he was one of them.
Who?
Jose Pablo Montoya. And then he worked with the Indians to try to fight off the Americans. And then he was killed. Huh?
See any names you know?
A lot of Montoyas and Romeros. They were related to them. Trujillos too. Alright, let's check out the gallery. Shoes are gonna be so muddy. And then, so for this next part, we went into, because there was like this art gallery sign, so we went into his, basically we went to this guy's house, and me and my sister and I briefly talked with him for a little bit. Unfortunately, I couldn't buy anything just because it's so expensive, and I understand why it is, but whenever you're going on to a reservation, it's really expensive, you know, if you want to like buy like jewelry or stuff. But I understand why. But yeah, I kind of felt bad I didn't buy anything, but it said a gallery, so I just thought I could walk in. But anyway, so he didn't want me to take any video or pictures of the painting, so I wasn't able to show that. So I'll just show like various art, you know, for representing Taos or whatever, as I'm talking with him. So this is me talking with a Taos Pueblo artist. Oh yeah.
These are all originals. And we do carry two other artists here.
Oh okay. And you painted all of these?
No, we carry two other artists. others too.
Oh, so
Besides me, yeah.
did you do any of these or?
All those are mine on this side. I did yours.
Oh, really?
Also, and the ones on the white table. The dark ones right there are Samantha Woldenberg, my own Kirsty. They're cooked in sand. She has 3 right here. And then the guy, the man on a sheep, that's my son. He does oil candles.
Oh, wow.
And what I'll do with all my pieces, it's like this, the ones on the white table,
Mm-hmm.
all the ones here have my name, taken half off. I do like acrylic on handmade paper,
Mhm.
using 100% cotton on canvas, and then some of these have a portico leaf from Italy on there.
How long did it take you to learn how to paint?
I've been doing it all my life.
Really?
Yeah, and this year will be my 33 years having this place.
Oh,
doing it
wow.
full time.
That's good.
Can I add anything to your collection?
Oh, I have too much already, but thank you for
Thank you.
the information and showing your art. That's pretty cool though.
Yeah.
So like this is where your ancestor would stood. A few of them died to protect this place, you know.
Yeah.
All right, and that was our trip to the Taos Pueblo, and it was just great to go back there. Like I was saying in the beginning, it's just great to go back there and see my roots, see where my my grandfather's side anyway, the family came from, and just to see like I was telling you, like especially like it's different like reading about the area of Taos and listening to my grandfather, my great well he's my grandfather's brother, my uncle. Uh, I think it's like grand uncle or something. I don't know what it is, but anyway, but listening to him talk about the area, because initially, like, because our family has some land there. Well, he does, and basically I do. It's like a very small percentage. It's not like a big chunk of land or anything, but we have some land there, and they've had it for a little bit, and they've been like he's been wanting to sell it, but everyone else in the family's been like, just sell it, just sell it. And like he was kind of like, no, I don't want to sell it to people out. I want to sell it to someone local. I don't want to sell it to someone outside. And for a while, I honestly didn't understand that, right? Because I was like, just sell it. Who cares, But once I actually been there, I actually understand why, why he wouldn't want to. Because like Taos is already going through that with like that ski area, and there's already kinds of stuff like that going on. People outside like from California and Texas coming and buying stuff, and I kind of understand why that he wants to sell it to someone local, and I understand that now. But it was just real beautiful up there, and it was just great. It just felt like I was like reconnecting, with my grandfather and doing something that he always wanted me to go, seeing something he always wanted me to see, and going to the area that he always talked about. And it was a real special trip, and I definitely want to visit it again. Visit Taos in the area again. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog, and I'll see you for the next adventure.